Hello, this is National Chess Master Rats back at chess.com to continue my video series of the correspondence team match between my video lessons group and CARPE DIEM. This was played on board 88 of 210 boards. Let's have a look. Okay, our man is black here. wnnublaiam versus Anarch 61. Okay, and black employs the Berlin defense, which is a very tough nut to crack on the Grandmaster level. Black can pretty much sit there and draw game after game with it. That's what they say. It's interesting. I was watching the Dan Heisman show today, and they brought up how Kramnik in his match with Kasparov played it every time with black, and Kasparov kept trying to win against it, and he never could. The game's always ended in a draw, and but he says it's difficult to play. I don't know the theory on it that well, but looks like they're following mainline here. And now you need to block the E file. Could be problems. Now there's more potential problems on the E file. If you castle, this knight can run away, maybe to C6 and attack a pawn down on, or the bishop down on E7. So black just blocks the E file. And for what it's worth, black has the bishop pair. And really no weaknesses, although the double pawn is there. Shouldn't be much of a problem. I think the game is pretty much dead even. And both sides are getting developed, which is good. Now this creates a little weakness on E6 and on this diagonal, but unfortunately, White can't really exploit it. He can't get his queen onto that diagonal to give a menacing check. And also, he doesn't have a light squared bishop to help out. And this knight's covering on f7, so even if he was able to get a check, say he could magically put this queen on b3, the king can just tuck himself on h8. You don't really have anything with knight f7 check. Anyway, let's just see what happens. I thought, now, what White should have done is put his queen on d2. Was there a reason why he doesn't put it on d2? Why go back where you started? This just allows, if there's a rook trade, this allows you to bring your rook over, okay? White's going to spend a tempo here in a little bit, having to get his queen back off the back rank. Maybe he didn't like knight c4, but, you know, you should be okay against that. Knight c4, you can plant the queen on c3, okay? She should be safe there. Let's take a quick look. Knight c4, queen c3. He might get some double pawns here, but let's see. Maybe not. Let's see what happened and see what I have something in mind here. Queen d1. Now the question is, oh yeah, there's the one thing about the knight going there was on b2. I was thinking that maybe take and remove the defender. So maybe he has to go to c1, or does he? Or d1. Maybe he can go to f1. I just like the idea of keeping the rooks connected. I always have a first impression of a move, and I don't like queen d1 because it puts her back where she started. But it's not something black can really take advantage of. Black develops his queen, gets it off the back rank. And now here, I was kind of impressed by the way black handles this series here. There's some pressure on b7. Let's take a look here. The knight is all that's guarding it. But if bishop takes, black can take back with the pawn, and now the queen is guarding it. Okay? Now there's more to this defense of b8 or b7. White comes up with a move that he needs to pay a little more careful attention to. All other things aside, one drawback with putting your pieces in this formation is that at some point black could have a pawn fork. And right now he doesn't, because White has resources. White can take the bishop on f5 or take the knight on d6 and save the other piece right after. Okay. Matter of fact, bishop takes g5 would probably be a mistake after bishop takes d6, because that's removing the defender of f5. However, as I said, black had some creative ways of dealing with b7. Here they come. Now he's going to gain a tempo on the queen. The rook can't take back because the queen wasn't on d2. And now it gets back to d2 where she belonged. And lo and behold, black is able to retreat his bishop back to c8 and cover the pawn on b7. I thought that's kind of nifty. It's a nifty maneuver. I've pointed out to a lot of students. The key is you don't mind putting the bishop back here. It's not a move a lot of people want to play. Well, that's where it came from. Well, it's okay in a lot of situations, especially if you get your rook out, which black has done. That's why I'm happy with this maneuver. At the same time, the bishop didn't need to go to c8, but where else does it go? If it goes to d7, it could be exchanged, and black's trying to keep the two bishops on the board. And here, both his bishops return to their original squares, but they're going to be used later. But this is the point when white just blunders the game away. He needed to think about that fork he's allowed and retreat. Just put the knight back on f3, and we have a long game on our hands. Okay. Instead, white blunders, and black quickly takes advantage, and there's the fork, and now black is winning a piece. He gets a pawn for it, but black just attacks the knight again and goes and gobbles a pawn. And black looks good here. White looks in trouble. He's down a piece. He doesn't have any play against the exposed white king. Let's see, queen e3 threatens a check, but you run into a mate of your own. So white felt stymied here and resigned, and I don't blame him. There's really no hope in continuing. So well played by black. Just a little mistake cost white. Let's bring the other game up. Let's see what move it starts it out at. It's supposed to start at move 1. Where will it put it? Hey, it put it at move 1. How about that? Okay. This one ends even more abruptly. Let's see what happens here. It's a King's Indian defense. And here, black really loses the thread of this game. He's got a perfectly safe and solid position. D6 is playable. D5 is playable. Either of those moves is fine. The queen move, it's just a little early to bring the queen out. And white develops a piece. That's what you do. Now white's got potential discovery threats, driving the queen back where she came. So black decides to get clever and go attack a pawn. And this is, it's one of those things about correspondence chess where you can really excel. And white took his time and worked this out. As you'll see, black obviously didn't take his time because he didn't work it out. He walked into a disaster. White plays c5, and that's a great move, simply because white's busy chasing that queen around and setting a trap. The queen needs to retreat back to c7, and black still has a playable game, but black gets greedy and grabs the queen knight pawn. These pawns are poisoned. So many times people collect that pawn and go on and lose the game. And let's think about it for a second. Where does that queen retreat to? Okay, let's look at its path. It can't go to b3. It can go to b4. It can't go to b5. It can't go to b6. So right now it can go to 2 squares. That's where it can go. It can only go to c3 if you can get rid of this bishop, but that's easier said than done. So white takes those 2 squares away from the black queen immediately. And the black queen is trapped. Obviously, black didn't analyze. White did. White worked this out. He gambited the pawn, knowing that black couldn't take it. And then, to his delight, black took it. And knight d5, he's trying anything. But all white needs to do now is put the queen under attack and save his knight. He can do that with one move. Can you find it? Pause the video. Okay, you're black. What white to play and win? And I hope you found knight a4. And if you did, Good for you. If you didn't, well, now you've seen the tactic, and that'll help you remember tactics. Where does Black put the queen? He doesn't. Any place he places it, it's going to be lost. Uh, he's got to give material up. Uh, play queen takes rook if he wants. Could, but he's losing a queen for a rook. You could play bishop takes pawn, and if knight takes, but you're only getting a piece for the queen. Hello, bishop, and game over. So as soon as White played knight a4, Black threw in the towel and resigned. So what's the lesson here? The lesson is analyze your continuations. White did, and if you look at the other game, White analyzed and played very well. White played two nice games. Black just moved too quick and had two disasters. Anyway, little by little, I'm getting caught up. Still about 9 games to go, and I'm sure by the time I get those 9 done, there'll be another 9 results. But eventually I'll catch up. Bear with me. They're coming. Thanks so much for your time. Bye now.